If you could step inside my mind for just one moment, you would feel something different. Not just happiness, not just positivity, a pure, electric joy for life. That joy, the thing I wish everyone could feel, is built on something deeper than mood. It's built on gratitude. Gratitude isn't a feeling, it's a way of thinking, a way of living. Most people think gratitude is something that happens after life gets good. But the truth is, it's the opposite. Gratitude makes life good no matter what's happening around you. And practicing it daily doesn't just make you feel better, it changes who you are. You know that I encourage you to think for yourself and not take what I say at face value, so here's the evidence to back me up. Welcome to the Grateful Podcast. Today is another one of my solo episodes, and I'm super excited to dive into the science behind gratitude and the reasons why gratitude is so important. I know I said in the intro that if you could step inside my mind for just a moment, you would feel something different. And that could sound arrogant, but it's truly one of the reasons I started this podcast, because I realized that once I started being grateful for my life, I just had a different mindset. I just loved my life, and that elevated the quality of everything around me. And I wish that everyone could feel that, because I believe that that magical feeling is what life is all about. And so today we're going to dive into how we can make that happen. But just before I do dive into that, I wanted to announce that you can now book a one-on-one gratitude session with me. You can email the email in the description below, jackcwagoner@gmail.com, and we can get a time booked. All right, let's get into this. So let's get this clear. Gratitude is not just nice, it's scientifically necessary for a fulfilling life. Why? Good question. That's a big statement, but there's a big answer. Across dozens of studies, psychologists have found a strong link between gratitude and life satisfaction. A 2023 meta-analysis covering more than 16,000 people concluded that gratitude and life satisfaction are substantially positively correlated. And I know that a lot of psychological studies have faced a replication crisis, but I checked this one. I'll link it in the description. This one's good. And simply put, my conclusion from this is the more grateful you are, the more likely you are to wake up loving your life. And that's the whole goal, isn't it? Loving your life. I don't see a reason to live besides that, or bigger than that. Even more powerful, research shows that gratitude and satisfaction create a positive spiral. This is so cool. So in a 3-month longitudinal study, people who felt more grateful ended up more satisfied. And then that increased satisfaction led them to become even more grateful. And that being more grateful led them to be more satisfied. Increased satisfaction, more gratitude. It's a virtuous cycle that lifts up your entire experience of living. It continues forever and ever and ever. When I found this study, I was blown away because it so accurately describes the way I view my life and the way I've lived my life. Once I just become grateful for something, which is hard to do, but once I just write down I'm grateful for something, decide I'm going to be grateful for this, I become more satisfied. And satisfaction has a weird aura around it in this whole self-improvement community, because people believe satisfaction means that you're no longer striving for better. No. If you've watch any of my videos, listen to any of my podcasts, I don't believe that. I believe that satisfaction leads you to become even more effective, leads you to love your life more. Being satisfied does not mean you're not going to go for more. Those are different things. Satisfaction is not being lazy. So while grateful people report better health, stronger relationships, more resilience, and deeper purpose, people that are rejecting it because their idea of satisfaction doesn't align with what they want are losing out on all of these amazing benefits. So I want you to reframe the way you think of gratitude from being a bonus to a foundation for a better life. And there's scientific evidence to back this up. Gratitude changes your brain, literally changes the physical biochemistry of your brain. And I found this so interesting because I'm going to be a behavioral neuroscience major next year. So I just cannot wait to be able to dive into more of this and become more knowledgeable about this for you guys and for myself. But during my research, I found that thanks to new brain scans and new neuroscience, we know that gratitude literally rewires the brain. When you practice gratitude, your medial prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate cortex light up. And as an incoming behavioral neuroscience major, I didn't even know what these areas did, so I don't expect you to. So I'll explain. What I found is that these two areas control much of your moral judgment, emotional regulation, and long-term happiness. So I guess they're pretty important. They're basically those brain areas that are controlling how you're feeling on a moment-to-moment basis, which is so interesting. What I found even crazier is that gratitude triggers our brain's reward circuitry. Yep, dopamine. I know, that's the only thing most people know about neuroscience. So I guess this means that gratitude is scratching the same itch that your TikTok addiction does. Well, kind of. Obviously, it's not going to be the exact same, but think about that. What if you replaced your hour of, or at least just 15 minutes of your TikTok scrolling every day with gratitude journaling or meditation, where you're thinking about how thankful you are for the life that you have? Your life would look so different, and we'll get into that in a second. But these ideas of how gratitude shifts your neurochemistry, it doesn't stop there. Studies from UCLA show that gratitude activates part of the brain tied to social bonding and stress reduction. That means that it'll calm your amygdala, your brain's threat detector, and even lower inflammatory markers in your body. So in other words, gratitude makes you feel safer, more connected, and more alive at a neurochemical level. It's not just some nice emotion or nice practice that people talk about. It's literally a biological upgrade. And I don't know how many times I said literally in that section, but it was a lot. So drop that down in the comments. So you might be thinking, okay, Jack, but isn't gratitude just writing in a journal sometimes? What is it? That's a good question. And I'd say that gratitude isn't just writing in a journal sometimes. Gratitude is a way of seeing and a way of being. That said, even small practices have massive effects, which I didn't know. I always thought that there was the cliche practice of writing 5 things down a day. That's what I've found from different people I've talked to and different studies I've read in the past, and that was like the marker for gratitude. But in a classic study, adults who simply listed a few blessings each week reported higher well-being compared to those who listed hassles. More recent studies confirm it, and this one was very interesting. 8 weeks of simple gratitude journaling led to significant increases in life satisfaction, happiness, and resilience, while people who didn't practice gratitude stayed exactly the same. So I guess by not practicing gratitude, you're not living a worse life, you're just living the same life. But by practicing gratitude, you're elevating your life. And so anyone that's trained in regular economics or knows the way that humans are supposed to behave rationally would say, well, why are we not all practicing gratitude? Because the opportunity cost of not practicing gratitude is so significant. By practicing gratitude, you're just losing out on the lower levels of satisfaction you had previously. Well, by not practicing gratitude, you're losing out on increases in life satisfaction, happiness, and resilience. That's crazy. And one meta-analysis found that about 64% of gratitude interventions resulted in meaningful well-being improvements, compared to only 22% in control groups. In the control groups, they did just regular interventions. But these numbers matter because they prove something that the most joyful people already live by. And I'm sorry to keep boxing myself in this, but I do take pride in being very joyful and very happy. And this thing is that gratitude is a choice. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to see what happens to you. And so the real secret of grateful people is that when you start to notice the gifts around you, the people, the chances, the quiet moments, you naturally start to believe that your life has depth and that you matter. When you believe that you matter, everything changes because your relationships will improve. You'll have higher self-esteem and higher self-worth, which I could not cover in a solo episode. There's too much on that. The higher self-esteem leads to basically every benefit imaginable. And then gratitude also retrains your brain to see beauty instead of lack. I talked to David Lorimer on my podcast on episode, 31, 32? And David he runs an Instagram account, Today I'm Grateful, where he just says, today I'm grateful for cottage cheese or something random like that. And it's just such a refreshing page. But he talked about once he started practicing gratitude, he started to see things, and he was on a run one time, and he just started to see things and be like, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful for that. His brain was retrained to look for the things to be grateful for in life. So many of us look for anything and immediately see the negative. You're out and about, you see someone doing something you dislike, and you'll say to a friend, look at that. What if that changed? And it's not, I know that it can be sometimes cliche or weird to always be talking about what's great, but imagine your brain instantaneously saw things and was like, oh, that's amazing. Saw the things that were amazing. Selected the things that would make it feel grateful. No matter how other people would view that, you would feel so much better inside. Because gratitude lifts your mood moment to moment. And eventually, it lifts your life. And because of that, grateful people experience life on a whole different level. They feel connected, not just to themselves, but to everything around them. They feel alive, and they feel free of the burden of always being controlled by negativity. It cannot recommend practicing gratitude enough. And my final thoughts on this is that inside a life of gratitude, at least my life of gratitude, life seems to be different. And I'm comparing my life before and after. And I know that there have been a lot of different variables. I'm still young. I don't know everything. But this idea of gratitude, the one that inspired me to launch this entire platform, is also confirmed by substantial scientific research that I presented today. Being grateful may not be the end-all be-all solution to the world. It's not perfect, even if that's what you want to hear. Practicing gratitude is good, though. It's really, really good. It's so deeply and vibrantly good that your happiness is no longer a dependent variable contingent upon the outcomes of your moment-to-moment experience. Living in gratitude doesn't mean life is always easy. It means life is always meaningful. It's not about pretending bad things don't happen, but it's about realizing that the good was always there too. And that's bigger. Gratitude doesn't just change your day, it changes who you are. And it's available to you right now. You don't have to do anything besides just think to yourself, in this moment, what are you grateful for? The easiest thing to do is often just look around you and pick physical objects, because those are the most tangible to us. So just start there. You don't have to think of these amazing, huge, deep philosophical things to be grateful for. Look around you in your room. My bed's right here. I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for my comfy mattress and the blankets I have. I'm grateful for my dark, what are they called? Light blocking shades? Whatever they are. I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm grateful for those, because without those, I'm pretty sensitive to light, so I probably wouldn't be able to sleep. I'm grateful for my computer, for being able to record this episode. I'm grateful for my drive to record this episode. See how easy that was? You start at one thing, and it just starts to flow. And at some point, you won't have to try as hard anymore. And I don't want you to think about that right now, because sometimes we want to just get to the end result without having to put in the work to get there. So put in the work. Try to be grateful for things for a little bit. And you're going to be amazed at how crazy it is. Maybe just 5 minutes today. It's 3 things. I'm still on this, but I just want you to try. And then, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, if you want a clear personal walkthrough on gratitude, I can make that happen too. I'm starting my journey as a gratitude coach. So you can email Jaxie Wagoner or jaxiewagoner@gmail.com to become one of my first clients, or you can hit the link in the description below. This week, I'm very excited because on Wednesday I have a very cool interview coming out on the intersection of spirituality and clinical psychology with Dr. Katie Turner, where we talk about everything related to intuition and the psychology and the spirituality around that. Very, very cool episode. And then on Saturdays, wow, that was a good episode. I don't even know if I want to release it to you yet. I will. Okay. It's called Chase Your Goals Like a Buddhist with Susan Piver. And Susan Piver, for any of you that know her, is an amazing Buddhist meditation teacher. And that was just an amazing conversation. So Grateful Podcast continues to rock. Thank you for so much of the support that I'm getting. If you're listening to this on any of the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any listening platforms, and please leave a review. It means the world. It really helps me out. And send this to someone that you think could use it. If you're on YouTube, same thing. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, and send this to someone that you think could use it. Have a great week, and stay grateful.